Hey, welcome back. In this second part of a two-part set of videos, it's about the Age of Intimacy, Famine by Michelle Drouin. It's her article. Here we talk about some of the adolescent implications and anxieties that young people feel due to technology in their lives. Quote, teens are spending most of their waking hours online eschewing in-person gatherings for online chats, games, and Netflix. And even those of us with socially rich networks sometimes long for flashes of intimacy like hugs from friends or sex with lovers amid the doldrum of our daily lives. I wonder from this, what are the short and long-term impact of online dominance in our lives, where we are eschewing in-person gathering for both younger people and older people? Quote, as modern life has grown more distant through technological innovation, our opportunities for deep, intimate moments have dwindled. The pandemic has only exacerbated this trend, prohibiting or impeding many types of friendly and professional touch, and sending many of us deeper into our online worlds. Similarly, what are the short and long-term impact of this type of isolation where we're not touching people, at least during COVID, and also due to technology? Quote, from a larger societal standpoint, phones and technology use may also be causing discontent. In the early 21st century, there has been much media attention directed toward the research of U.S. psychologist Jean Twenge and colleagues. Their studies have demonstrated a rise in rates of depression and anxiety corresponding to increased rates of technology used among U.S. adolescents and young adults over the past decade. From this, my question, which I think we should all be considering, if should we have this technology? Can we have this technology without suffering depression and anxiety? And if it is that acute, this depression and anxiety, how can we minimize the use of technology in our lives? Is it even possible in today's life? Quote, the argument goes something like this. Technology helps us form relationships, certainly. Yet now everyone is sitting in their bedroom on their phones and computers. FYI, I'm recording this in a bedroom. And by connecting with others online, they're missing out on the face-to-face interactions that help keep us happy and feeling socially connected. Even worse, going online and on social media is making us stressed, lonely, and depressed. How do you have deep relationships when you have technology involved? Is it causing us stress, loneliness, and depression? How do we foster face-to-face interactions given all this? Quote, recent studies with U.S. adolescents have shown that the more online social capital you have, the more likely you are going to experience stress when exposed to online risk, like information breaches and exposure to explicit content. But this might be an all eggs in one basket phenomenon. Social capital distributed across online, and offline contexts will probably offer a more protective effect. Maybe the question from this is, why is our social capital jeopardized by online risk? Is it because of the high stakes cancellation that sometimes happens with people, or people being dismissed to some extent when they say something risque online? Drouin ends her article talking about some of the positives of phones. Quote, this is why I'd never propose giving up your smartphone or doing a phone detox. Instead, accept your attachment to your phone for what it is, you clinging to a lifeline that connects you to important people in your world. And I wonder from this, how do we maximize phones as being lifelines and not being just a source of dependency that we spend all our time on to the exclusion of our social interactions? And finally, quote, for some, like many young adults I teach and research, the shape of intimacy is morphing so much that the drips they get through text and social media are enough to sustain connection. For others, like me, the author, in-person interactions where we are drenched in touch and laughter and nonverbal cues may be what we crave. From this all, I wonder, my biggest question is, where do we find true intimacy? Do we find it online? Do we find it offline? Do we get it from people? Do we get it through our interactions with the world around us, nature, reading and learning about other people? The second question is, does technology foster sufficient social connection? She talks about herself needing touch and laughter and offline exposure to feel good about herself. I wonder if the texting and social media that give these drips of intimacy, is that enough? Maybe we're fooling ourselves to believing that it's so, but really it isn't. That was The Age of Intimacy, Famine by Michelle Drouin. That was the second part dealing with adolescents and their anxieties. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Take care.